Hi, I am Dr. Eurydice Moore, zooming in. I am the sole proprietor of Eurydice, a certified MBE, WBE, BEP, um, DBE, and all them other E's consulting firm. So I decided to zoom in today to let you know about a 501c3 special which took effect December the 1st and it will expire February 1st. This is the opportunity for a nonprofit to attain their 501c3. But in order to attain the 501c3, you must first be a nonprofit. What that means? That means that you must become incorporated through the Secretary of State, and I can help you with that. I am a business consultant. I work with nonprofits and for profit. I help nonprofits attain their 501c3 status, and I help both nonprofits and for profit to become eligible to receive funding. So, what is a 501c3? A 501c3 is a document that you receive from the IRS in the form of a letter, and it gives you tax exemptions. And there's 11 different ways that you could use the 501c3. I will be doing a couple of them. I have one in the YouTube library under Eurydice that you can look at now that talks about one of the tax exemption. Now, if you do not have that 501c3 and you are a nonprofit, then if anyone donates 600 over $600 to you, you will have to pay taxes on that money. I mean $600 for the year. So it's not mandatory that you have the 501c3, but it is definitely beneficial. It would be to your advantage to have the 501c3 for the nonprofit organization in which you are a steward over. And as I said before, there's 11 different types of way that you could use that 501c3. It gives you at least 11 that I have found out through my years of doing this since 2004 of how to use your 501c3. A lot of people only know about the 501c3. They know it's needed in order to receive funding from grantors, okay? Or they know that in order for people to get a tax write off, they need the 501c3. But I want you to know it's much more than those two items that I just mentioned. And I will be doing a series of video that will explain how you can use the 501c3. I have found at least 11 ways. Now, I want to thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. Please subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. You're free to make a comment. I'm on live. I'm here to answer questions. You may have non-for-profit questions or concern, or you want to make a comment. You may do so. Okay. Once again, what is a 501c3? But before you can get the 501c3, you must be recognized as a non for profit in your state that the nonprofit is set up. And that is through the Secretary of State. All right. So it is a document that you acquire from the Internal Revenue Services that exempt you from paying federal taxes. And there's other exemptions in which you could benefit from. Who should get the 501c3? Only nonprofits are eligible for 501c3. If you are for profit, you do not qualify for the 501c3. This is for a nonprofit. Why should you get the 501c3? You should get the 501c3 so you could benefit from various tax exemption. And as I said before, I have found 11 different ways to use the 501c3 for various exemption, and you will see that on future videos. Okay. If you do not have the 501c3 and your organization acquire a donation over $600 for the year, you will have to pay taxes on that money. You will have to pay federal and you will have to pay state taxes. So where do you go to get the 501c3? Okay. How do I go about getting the 501c3? You could go about getting the 501c3 by contacting one of the three people: a lawyer, accountant, or business consultant. If you go to a lawyer, you will pay anywhere from $3,500 up to $4,200. I had a client to come to me who paid $4,200 to a lawyer, and he did not get his 501c3. Just because you submit it doesn't mean you're going to get it. You have to have all your I's dotted and all your T's crossed. You have to meet the requirement in order to be granted the 501c3 tax exemption status. And whoever you go to must have a non-for-profit background. You have to be careful. He went to a lawyer that did not have a non-for-profit background. So he did not know the terminology. There's language to everything in life. There's language to everything in life. So with a nonprofit, you must know the nonprofit language. And if IRS see that you do not know the nonprofit language, you will be declined. You will be denied. So this lawyer did not have the nonprofit background. People, once again, if you're going to use a lawyer to attain a 501c3 on your behalf, you need to make sure he has a nonprofit background. You don't go to an injury lawyer. You do not go to a criminal lawyer. You have to go to a lawyer with a nonprofit background, a lawyer who specializes in corporation. A non-for-profit is a corporation. So you need a corporate lawyer. So if you go to an injury or you go to civil lawyer, criminal lawyer, all these other lawyers, more than likely you will be declined for it if he put an application in and he is not familiar with the nonprofit. Best way I could describe it is, let's look at a doctor. All doctors, they get what is called a medical degree. Then they specialize. You got those that are geriatric, which means they work with the seniors. You got the pediatrician, which means they work with children. You got the OB-GYN, which means they work with pregnant women and they work with women with reproductive problems or issues. Then you got the surgeon. Then you have the family practice, which means he see everybody. Okay, then you have the specialist. So just like, okay, they all have to have the MD. So with the lawyers, they all have to get that JD degree, but then they specialize. So you want someone who have a corporation background. Now, back to my doctor example. If you are a geriatric and you're 85, you're 75, 85 years old, you're not going to be going to a pediatrician. Okay? That's the wrong doctor. All right. My point exactly. You do not go to a civil lawyer or a criminal lawyer trying to get a nonprofit 501c3 status with the Internal Revenue Service. Different kind of lawyer. So, another person that you can go to about the 501c3 is an accountant. It could be an accountant or it could be a CPA, certified public accountant. That's the person that take the exam and been certified. Okay. Of course, if you go to a certified accountant, you're going to pay much, much more. If you can find a good accountant, that'll be good too. But word of caution, you got to make sure they have that 501c3 nonprofit background. If they do not have the nonprofit background, more than likely your application is going to be declined. And they charge anywhere from $2,500 to about $3,600, close to what lawyer charge. That's with the accountant. And here you got to be careful with the accountant. You got to make sure the accountant have a nonprofit background. I had a situation where a pastor came to me. I was sitting at a restaurant, a well-known restaurant. They're closed now. They used to be located in Chicago on Madison and Kinsey. I'm not going to call the name. And I tell you, that proprietor, she served a lot of famous civil rights leaders. Martin Luther King been there, Jesse Jackson, Ralph Abernathy, so on and so forth. The mayors of the cities of Chicago have ate at her restaurant. But anyway, this particular day, I was having lunch, and this pastor walked over to me. He remembered the type of work that I did, working with the 501c3. And then he said, I need to set an appointment with you. I really need to talk to you. So we made an appointment, and I went to see him. And he told me that he received a letter from the IRS, and they have threatened to come and take his church, his building, his home, his van, and his cars away from him. And they gave him a deadline. He was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in the hole with the Internal Revenue Service. So, of course, I did an assessment. I asked him what happened. And what happened was he had a member that was an accountant. She did not have the nonprofit background. And she asked him had he did his taxes, and, she was filing his taxes. And she filed him as though she would do a for-profit corporation. And IIS, they said he owed all this money. And I told him to bring a resolution to this issue, you need to have that same person produce a letter, and in the letter explain that you are a church, that you have the 501c3 status, therefore you have been waived from having to pay federal income tax on anything. And I said, once you do that, the situation will be eradicated. Now, whether he followed the instruction or not, I have no idea. But I know I wasn't about to step in that. But I did give him a resolution. So hopefully he followed it. So what was the problem? He had an accountant working on his records, working on his taxes, and she did not have a nonprofit background. See, nonprofit and for-profit is two different worlds. Records are handled different. Filing is handled different. With the for-profit, you are reporting revenues, monies that your corporation, your businesses have earned. With a nonprofit, you are reporting what is called gross receipts. What do that mean? You are letting the Internal Revenue Service know the amount of donation that came in, whether it was private contribution, sponsorship, grants, bequests, insurance. You're letting them know the amount of money that came into the nonprofit. And you file what is called a 990. Totally different ball game. So she did not know. She was trying to be helpful, looking out for her church, and end up opening up Pandora box. So whoever you go to see, you must make sure they have a non-profit background. Once again, you can go to a lawyer, you can go to an accountant, but make sure they have a non-profit background. Or you can go to a business consultant. There are business consultants out here, as myself, and I've been doing 501c3 since 2004. It's miraculous how I got into the field. I remember one day I was sleeping, I was dreaming, and I heard God say, get a 501c3. I had no idea what a 501c3 was. I Googled it and I looked it up and saw what it was. And then it wasn't too long afterwards that I found myself without income. And then God said, start a business. I want you to teach my people everything that you know. I want you to help my people. And that I did. I started a business. I opened up a nonprofit. I have had two of them. And then I went on to start the for-profit, Eurydice. So I am a business consultant. I've been on both sides, nonprofit and for-profit, and those are the population that I serve. So you can find a business consultant. Now, if you need my help, my information is scrolling across the screen. I am Eurydice, 501c3 and grant writing. That's what I offer. I service both nonprofit, for-profit. Scrolling across the screen, you will see my website, my email, and my phone number. And you can contact me in regard to the 501c3. All right. So how would you get in contact with a person such as myself, a business consultant? I do not charge $4,000, $3,500, $4,000. I do not charge $2,500. I offer affordable rates. My rate starts at $1,250. However, from time to time, I go as the Lord lead me. Usually once a year, sometimes every other year, I offer what is called the 501c3 special. And there's a special going on December 1st that expires December, no, I'm sorry, February 1st. It started December 1st and expires February 1st, where you can, through me, if you take advantage of this promotion, attain your 501c3 by paying consulting fees only of $500. However, This special do have limitation and restriction. The restriction is you cannot be a church. You could be any other nonprofit. And you be like, well, that ain't fair, Dr. Moore. Well, you see, the IRS require tons of paperwork for churches. So therefore, it would not be profitable for me to do church. Well, I thought this was your ministry, Dr. Moore. Yes, it is. But just like you, I have bills that have to be paid. That's why I present affordable rates and I sponsor specials from time to time to help the people of God out. So if you take advantage of this promotion, 501c3 promotion, which is in effect now, I had someone to sign up yesterday and paid her money. Okay, this offer expires February 1st. Don't get left out. You've been needing a non-profit 501c3 for the longest. Now's the time to jump in and get your 501c3 for your nonprofit. The other restriction is you must pay the governmental registration fees. Secretary of State have a registration fee. The Attorney General office has a registration fee. And the IRS have a registration fee. Okay. But the $500 is better than paying $4,200, $3,500, or $2,500. Much better. It's a special. Somebody might say, well, it must be something wrong with it. You know, why is it so cheap? You know how we think sometimes. Well, this is why the $500, this is why the 501c3 is at a special promotion. Number one, it is part of my ministry. And as I said, from time to time, I offer this special. So the retail value of this special is $12.50, not including the governmental fees. So once a year, I present a special, usually at the end of the year. I present a special for God's people. Okay, number two, another reason is nothing wrong with it. I've been doing the 501c3 since 2004. December 4th of 2022 will be 18 years in business. All my clients have gotten a 501c3, and I give God the glory, all of it. I take no glory. I did not go to school for it. I did not get a degree in it. I was not trained. I was trained by the Holy Ghost how to do the 501c3. He gave me the wisdom how to do it. So there is nothing wrong with the special. Your 501c3 is just as good as the 4,500. Your 501c3 that is bought at the promotion level of 500 is the same as the person that paid 2,500, 3,500, or if you pay $12.50 to a business consultant for it. A 501c3 is a 501c3. So there is nothing wrong with it. Plus, I'm trying to give the people of God a break and to give back, but yet still be able to pay my bills and to help somebody. Okay. All righty. So that concludes why I came on live to let you know that this is available. The 501c3 special promotion, $500, retail value $12.50. I have explained to you what is a 501c3. If you came in late, please listen to this video because it is recorded. I told you who should get the 501c3, why you should get the 501c3. I told you where you could go to get the 501c3. Then I extended an invitation. I'm calling you to a course of action. Many of you should have had your 501c3 a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I remember the time when a 501c3 was $150, but we procrastinated. Prices have skyrocketed. So we can't cry over spilled milk, but we need to find what is affordable. That's what you shoot for. What is affordable? So, once again, I am Dr. Eurydice Moore of Eurydice, a certified consulting firm, certified city, state, county, and federal level. My information is scrolling across the screen. My website is coming up, my email, and my phone number. And then I'm on all the social media. You can message me, you can email me, you can call me. You will be able to get in contact with me. Okay, once again, that 501c3 special promotion will expire February 1st. Well, you might say, well, I don't need a 501c3. I have it already. Well, pass the information along. Maybe there's someone that don't have a 501c3. Or I'm not interested in a 501c3. Or I don't have a nonprofit and I don't see myself getting one. Pass the information through the village. Pass it on. Pay it forward. Okay, I'm Dr. Eurydice and I'm signing off. Anna baby, Annie girl, God bless, as you were.